So just to give a small highlight, I'm going to, after this, I'm going to do a brief roll call of the members, just to be sure that the speaker is around, because I think I have a very long list of them today. So around the world, I want to believe, I think we've all seen this, that people are not, the young people especially, are trying to create opportunities to provide climate solutions, okay? And they are actually creating them. So you can look at, they're ranging from renewable energy innovations and circular economy models, okay? That actually digital, okay, to that are digital climate tools and nature-based technologies, I should say. So youth are not only demonstrating that innovation can be both impactful, but it can also be locally driven. So today's discussion is going to explore how we can strengthen innovation, ecosystems, and scale climate technologies. Yeah? So we are fortunate to be joined by a panel of experts and innovators who are bringing their perspectives into today's discussion. And I would love, I don't know if we have, if it's okay, if we could get to know them if they're available, so we can go on, because I have a session where we shall have an interaction with them. So I just want to make sure everyone is around today. So I don't know if you have Mr. MUTALE from the CEO of YAAKA Investment, Zambia. If you're around, you can kindly just do a thumbs up, okay? Can just do a thumbs up emoji so we can move to the next person. I don't know if you have Dr. Gia. Is Dr. Gia around? Yes. Do we have Miss Sarah?
Yes.
Do we have Mr. Steven? Okay. Is it Osarode? Something like that?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
here.
Have a Charles Dodzi? Yes, do we have a Charles Dodzi? I don't see a thumbs up from Charles Dodzi. So we also have Desmond. I don't know if all these people are around, but I hope they are, because we have a session with them all. So we have an Alvin, we have Hussein, we have Kelvin, we have Rihan. So thank you all for joining, and thank you for taking this opportunity to share your ideas and knowledge about this. So to start off, I'd like each panelist to briefly introduce themselves and answer one question at least, okay? So I want to start off with a nice breaker question, really. And let's start with Mr. MUTALE, and then we shall be followed by Hassanjia, and then we shall have Sarah Hashem. Is it Sarah Rashid something? Yes. So just to start off, a nice breaker question. So I want to ask, what climate innovations are emerging, or emerging technology gives you the most hope for the future, and why? So let's have Mr. MUTALE go first.
Do I need to say something?
No,
Are you asking me?
No, it's Mr. from the CEO from YAAKA Investment, Zambia.
Okay.
Yes.
Please answer the question well. The question is not clear.
Oh, sorry. The question is, what climate innovations or emerging technologies are giving you the most hope for the future, and why?
I guess as per the agenda, we were supposed to start with a keynote speaking session, and I have a presentation for that. So if you allow me, I can share my screen and share the presentation.
Okay, fine. You can go first.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Let me just share the screen. Can you see it?
No, not yet. Yes, sure, we can see it.
Yeah. So this session is about climate tech and the youth-led environmental solutions that we have across the globe. And my name is Madhukar. I am co-founder and the research head for Vaidic, Srijan, which is a climate tech startup from Bharat, India. And we are also into agri-tech, because climate tech and agri-tech go hand in hand. Ultimately, if you're wanting to solve the global problem of building a climate resilience, we need to understand the problem first. To solve any problem, it will first start from understanding of the problem. So I'm just taking you through the slide so that you understand the real problem of the climate, why it is such a huge problem, and why all the youth across the globe are trying to work on the solution in their own levels of understanding. So this is what the global scenario looks like. So we have industries which do pollution, whether it is air pollution, whether it is water pollution. And air pollution and water pollution lead to chain reaction, which is that atmospheric degradation, public health crisis, acid rain, warming, the global warming that we know. It starts from a local warming because of the urban heat island effect, because of the photovoltaic heat island effect. Then public health crisis like waterborne and vector-borne diseases and then air pollution-borne diseases, which eventually will lead to flash floods and droughts, which will cause livelihood disruptions, agriculture impact, crop failure, biodiversity losses. All these are ultimately linked to climate. All these problems is what we call as the climate catastrophe, right? Now, if you actually look at it, ultimately what is happening, we have polluted the soil, water, and air, right? So everywhere, as I said, there is a lot happening for the climate resilience. When we look at the funding side, less than 1% of the funding is actually going to the youth-led startups, which are for the climate tech space, right? There's a lot of funding happening. Every COP summit, we talk about funding, right? Every COP summit, we are talking about cutting the emissions. But ultimately, when it comes to youth-based startups, the funding is not coming here. The funding is going to the already established corporations. If you look at the youth, it's not that youth only in a particular geography are working towards climate tech. So we have companies from Ghana, from Nigeria, from Argentina, from India, from Australia, everywhere. The entire global south, if you actually look at it, there are youth-based climate tech innovations which are happening, right? So everybody is trying to solve their problem in their own approach of understanding of the problem, right? So I'm just going to give you a perspective towards what exactly is the grassroots, right? Now, what we do here in Vaidic Srijan in Bharat is we restore the health of soil, water, and air through the conjunction point, which are the natural water bodies, wetland, rivers, rivulets, water streams, water channels, and all that, right? So these are the natural water infrastructures. And these are the conjunction point of soil, water, and air. So if they are healthy, there's a ripple effect in air, there's a ripple effect in soil, there's a ripple effect into the groundwater recharge. So if our water bodies are in healthy condition, we see that there is a massive impact on all 17 UN SDGs. There's not even a single SDG which is left unaddressed. And this is something that not just I am saying, this has been concluded into the 2018 Ramsar Convention, the wetland COP that we had. Last year we had the wetland COP in Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. I was there. I met 9 different country representatives, the member of parliament from African unions, and everybody was like really happy to understand the concept of the water bodies creating a massive impact, whether it is socioeconomic or biodiversity or environmental impact, groundwater recharge, air pollution mitigation, water pollution mitigation, everything is created. I mean, the tangible, measurable impact can be created in all the factions, and we can actually build climate resilience just by restoring the health of the water body. By restoring the health, I don't mean cleaning, I mean healing of the water bodies. Right? So if you look at the global scenario, the traditional knowledge that we have, the traditional environmental knowledge that we have in almost all the geographies, there is a traditional science, there is a traditional environmental knowledge that we have, which leads to the ecosystem-based adaptation. Coupled with the modern deep tech or the modern technology, we can actually create a massive impact. So what we are doing is we're using the traditional knowledge for intervention, we're using the modern knowledge for measurement of the impact, and that is how we can actually create each of our project into a massive footprint, right? So the basic physics is that every water body in an unhealthy condition will be an emitter. Every
Hi,
water body in a
Madhukar.
healthy condition will be a
Hello.
sink.
Sorry, I
Yes.
just wanted to mention that you have 5 more minutes, please.
Yeah. My
Thank you.
presentation is almost done. So funding gaps are there, but we can restore those gaps, or we can fill in those gaps with data. The moment we have data, the funding will follow naturally. And once you have the funding and the data, the policy will definitely be driven in the right direction. So this is what we have as a startup ecosystem all across the globe. And everybody has to come together to create an impact which is measurable and tangible, right? So ESG, UNSDG, TCFD, TNFD, all of them are linked to the climate impact, provided we do the right measurements and we are able to solve a problem in a sustainable way. There should be a start point of the project, there should be an end point of the project, and then the project should remain sustainable. So that's the end of the presentation. If anybody has got any questions, you're most welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the clap. Please come up with your questions if anybody has got any questions.
Any questions to share? Okay, we have something in the comment section. Someone's saying they have in their community, in their village was hit with a massive flood. Yes, he's asking, can you suggest some of the tech-related solutions to cope with such a situation, or to help lessen the adverse effects so that it could do something?
Okay.
So I think he's asking for
So basically, when you say flood prone, we usually take floods as a natural disaster. It is not. Floods are being caused only when the water bodies bottom are filled up with sludge. If you can do eco dredging of the sludge and the soil capillary links are reestablished, the bottom of the water body becomes a perforated membrane to refill the groundwater. So as your groundwater recharge gets reestablished, the spillover will naturally be mitigated. So flood prone essentially means that the bottom of your water bodies, whether it is a lake or a river or a rivulet or a water channel or canal, when the bottom is filled with sludge is a man-made creation. Silt is a natural creation, right? So silt is not required to be removed. Sludge is required to be consumed and digested. See, nature does not have any concept of waste or wealth. Both of them are man-made. We attach an imaginary value to something and we call it wealth. We detach that value and we call it waste. Like if I give you an iPhone 5 today, it is of no use, right? Because the network has been upgraded. But it was the same iPhone 5 for which we had a 1 kilometer line when it was released, right? So it is the same hardware, it is the same software. So what has changed? The imaginary value that we attach to it, that has been detached, because today we have iPhone 14 or 15. I don't know what is the current number going on, right? So the nature's understanding is everything is cyclic. There is nothing called waste or wealth. Waste for one organism is wealth for another. So that is what we need to restore. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think it does. So we have another question. I want us to run through this quick. I have another question in the comment section that says the increasing temperature there's an increasing temperature and heat because of global warming that is affecting crops in that person's country. So what should they or the government do to tackle the problem?
Okay. See, global warming does not happen globally. It starts from local footprints. First, the local warming will happen and then it will go global, right? When the footprints go global, then it is called global warming, right? So how does the local warming impact you and how do you mitigate that? Wherever you have water bodies in healthy condition, every water body is a heat sink. It will absorb local temperature from 4 to 8 degrees,
Yes.
provided your water bodies are healthy and they are performing their ecosystem services, right? Then every water body is also a carbon sink. So greenhouse gases which are there in the atmosphere, which will absorb, is the local temperature.
Okay.
Am I muted?
No.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if your water bodies are healthy, the local temperature will go down by 4 to 8 degrees, which means the local warming will not happen, right? So all you need to do is restore the health of your water bodies and your warming impact, whether it is urban heat island effect or photovoltaic heat island effect. If you have a commensurate size of the water body around the cities, around the large scale solar deployments, the solar farms, then your heat impact will naturally be mitigated by the water bodies. I hope that answers your question.
Okay.
Any other questions? I think Suleiman Musa wants to ask a question. He has raised a hand. Yes, Suleiman, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much, the presenter. Before I ask my question, this is a very important topic that needs time, seriously. First and foremost, the presenter stated that climate innovation tech and agriculture and agro-tech goes together. So, and then we are talking about climate innovation tech. So, my question goes like this. Do we have any artificial intelligence for climate solutions? Have any intelligence?
Suleiman, your background voice is too much. I'm unable to get your question clearly.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
Okay. My question goes like this. I said, do we have any artificial intelligence solution for climate solution?
Okay. See, AI is used for measurements and calculations. AI in itself is not a climate solution. AI runs on massive data centers which are water guzzlers, right? So AI in itself, running an AI can give you calculation on ESG, on UNSDG impact, on your TNFD reporting, but AI in itself cannot solve the climate crisis because it is on the side of tech, it is not on the side of environment, right? So you can use AI, reduce the timeline required for reporting, but AI in itself cannot solve the pollution problem.
Okay.
We use a lot of AI into our reporting format, right? But for the intervention, it has to be your traditional environment knowledge. I hope that answers your question, or if you have a
Sorry, can I
corresponding
understand you?
question.
Yes, it answers my question, but how do we can we use this? Sometimes I have the research based on soil pH. Soil pH. So
Soil
I was,
pH.
yes, soil pH, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe there's maybe artificial intelligence that you measure soil pH with. That's an agrotech.
See, soil pH data collection can be done via sensing. Analysis of the soil pH for last a few years or few days or few months can be done by AI,
Hi,
but as far as the
can we?
intervention is concerned, that can only be done physically. Yeah,
Okay, so
you can
thank
hear.
you for that. I want us to get to the next panelists too. So
Sure, sure. Please go ahead.
yes, so because of
I
time,
have I have shared my contact details into the chat box. If anybody
yes,
has got any corresponding questions, you have my LinkedIn. You can send me a question directly. In the
yes. Do
interest
we?
of time, let's move ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. So
Thanks a lot.
thank you, Mr. Your name is quite hard to catch there, but I hope with time.
Madhukar.
So
You
I
can
want
call me
us.
Madhuka.
Oh, Madhukar, yes, thank you so much for that. So, off to the next panelists. I want just to give you a highlight. Yes, we often hear about the incredible climate innovations, yes, that are developed by the young people. Yet many move beyond the pilot. So yet many of them do not actually move beyond the pilot stages. So, what climate innovations have been developed or championed by young people that we are most excited about, and how would we be able to help them scale most of these innovations? Yes, can I have Mr. Jika and Miss Rashid on this, Miss Sarah?
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
hello.
First of all, I want to welcome you. I'm very happy to be here in your panel discussion. Thank you so much for this question. By the way, this excites me most is how young innovators are working at the intersection of climate and the other sector, especially circular economy and climate health solution also. For example, we can see that initiatives that transform waste into usable products like sustainable healthcare technologies show how can we address multiple challenges at once. However, the real challenge is not innovation, by the way, it's about scaling this point that you're asking me. So to bring these ideas into a scale, we need better access to funding, strong policy support, and real partnerships between startups and industry. Also, academia is very important.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. So, do we have Mr. J? If you're around, please put up, raise a thumbs up. Mr. Hassanjia.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for the opportunity to participate in this important discussion. Before I answer the question, I just wanted to contribute to Mr. Madhukar presentation in respect to the question that was asked about AI, whether it can be used in mitigating global warming. Yeah, we have AI integration with iOS, which we have been using here in Nigeria to solve environmental problems, especially waste management, and also release of heavy metals into the atmosphere, water, and also on the land. Now, the idea behind it is to give a signal when you have a sensor that is being planted either on the surface of the soil or in water. So if the heavy metals that are being released by most of this industry that produce cement uh, in environment around in community around the environment. So the moment the concentration is rising beyond the inhibitory concentration that a human being can consume or that can cause harm to them, the sensor will signal immediately to all the relevant agency who has the mobile app that was integrated with AI and the iOS. And with that, it can easily inform them to take the necessary step so that they can either reduce the level of the pollution that is being emitted in that environment. And that is one way in which the AI can actually help in mitigating that global warming. So for me, I'm particularly excited about youth-led innovation, basically in waste recycling, waste-to-energy technology, and climate-smart agriculture, renewable energy system, and also AI-enabled environment monitoring. This innovation addresses local challenges while creating economic opportunity. And to bring them to scale, we need stronger investment in innovation hub, access to climate financing, mentorship program, supportive government policy, and partnership that connect young innovators with industry. Thank you. Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Vincentia, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. So as I was saying earlier on, this innovative tech is actually an opportunity for young minds to bring together ideas to solve environmental problems. Here in Nigeria, we are privileged to have been solving some problems that have to be related to environmental air pollution. And that was why I was saying earlier on, using the AI integration, which supports easy and immediate sensing of most of these heavy metal into our environment. So for us, it is very important for us to actually look inward and develop invest in our innovative ops, bring like the climate change and even environment. So these are the things that we are facing is scaling this idea is when governments are ready and they are willing to finance most of this program. Because we have a cement factory here in Sokoto, northwest Nigeria, that is what cement, and the community around them, they mine the limestone that is used to produce the cement. And anytime they mine it, there are a lot of heavy metal that has been
I think we're having
okay. We have this heavy metal being exposed to the farm products. So, and sometimes the community people around there consume them and it actually affect them. So when we develop this AI integration with iOS to provide a mobile phone or a mobile app that can be given to all relevant agencies, the Ministry of Environment, police, security agencies, so that once this is being emitted into the atmosphere, as soon as the concentration is beyond human consumption, it will signal immediately. And that is one thing that we have tried to do in us, but scaling it up has been a problem because even the company we try to help are not supporting that. So funding is one thing that the youth the innovative youth are looking forward to. And I believe if we can work towards that, have access to funding, access to the technology, and the government policy that will actually strengthen this environmental pollution, it will go a long way to solve most of the problem we're having today.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Jia. So that was his presentation, and then he also highlighted about how the government can help these innovations go beyond the pilot stage, and it was more of providing a financial ground for these opportunities, for these innovations to tap in. Yes, that was a good highlight from there. So please let's have Mr. Alvin to make a presentation. And as you do, kindly, and I think it's okay, you're on unmute. So kindly, as you kind of like be quick with your presentation, so we can have other people. You don't take a lot of time.
Okay. I hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Alvin Munene. I am from Kenya, and I'm the founder of a youth-led organization called Kijiji Kwetu. Kijiji Kwetu is a Swahili word meaning our village, and we are based in Embu. But before I tell you what we entirely do, we started in 2024 as more of an NGO. So we used to go to juvenile centers, to children's homes, to refugee camps, etc., to schools as well. So what we were mostly doing was more of community service. So as you can see in the pictures, here, there are different pictures of us as our community and visiting different places. However, during 2024, we had that major challenge that most youth-led have is on funding, especially if you want to fuel your activities. So with that, now we transitioned into more from doing community service into now doing matters innovation. So Kijiji Kwetu, we focused on conversion of plastic waste into sustainable products. So back then, we started off with doing pitches in accelerators, in applying to grants and many more. And luckily, back then in 2024, we won a grant by KCIC. That is the Kenya Climate Innovation Center that helped us to now navigate to where we are. And one of the largest or the most important lesson that we learned was that as you look for funding, know how you will use that funding, because you'll need to have budgets, work plans, and many more. So attached there is our email and my contact, as well as my LinkedIn as well. So Kijiji Kwetu is a community, and we have 4 officials, including myself. I handle the matters finances. We also have Vincent, matters legal, Prudence, matters operations, and lastly, Michelle, matters sales. The reason why I put this specific slide is because as young people, we tend to believe that we can work alone. However, when you're applying to grants and accelerators, they will need you to have a team, especially with the narrative of gender equality. So ensure that in your core team, you have a blend of young people as well of different genders. And ensure you also have advisors from the field that you're in. So let's say for us, we are in plastic, so we have advisors in the circular economy. Yes. So in terms of what we do, is some of the problems that we are addressing is 1, the plastic pollution here in Kenya. 2 is on illegal logging and deforestation. And 3 is the limited furniture, sustainable products. So you find that as we address that and as we pitch that in conferences, events, we understand that we also need to have a solution in hand. So what we do currently is we source recycled pellets from recyclers. So what the plastic that is collected, we work with recyclers to sell to us in terms of valuation, because remember, as you develop your own solution, you need to be sustainable, especially if you're reaching out to investors. They will look into how you make money and how you retain yourself as well. So for us, as we take plastic pellets, that is LDPE, we recycle them into plants, and we have like recycled end products, and in the future projecting to make furniture. Attached are links of specific progress of what. So, yes. So also, since most of our have amazing ideas and solutions. See, like how I've broken down the entire process from start to as you navigate the issue on funding, ensure you have clarity over what you're doing. Yes. So since 2024 to currently as we speak, what are some of the lessons we've learned is, apart from attending different workshops and matters finances, one is ensure you work on your finances, especially if you're in a sector that is considered climate smart or clean tech. Yes, you might pitch your idea to an investor, but the investor would want to look at their return on investment, something that is not talked about, because we are told as young people, just innovate. You go to conferences and told, just innovate. But as you innovate, look at your finances. How do you make money? Do you make money? What are your expenses? What are your taxes? How do you, in terms of also your registration, what does it look like? If you're creating partnerships, create strong partnerships that will help you propel. Because one of our major mistake what we did is, as we were scaling from scratch to where we are, is that we entered into so many, not necessarily, but negotiations or conversations, people who wouldn't help us, especially those people when you go to events and they tell you, look for me when you finish the meeting, when you finish the conference. Ensure that you're creating connections, because I repeat, if you're looking for funding, they're past that age of sympathy that you're creating a solution for your community, and they want to know how sustainable product is. Is there a market? When it's something sustainable, is there a market of what you're doing? So yeah, and also read contracts. Yeah. So this is some of our products, how they look like. It's purely plastic waste, recycled plastic waste, specifically pellets. So when we are pitching people, this is what we show them. So currently we're in prototyping stage. Prototyping means we are developing a product that is suitable for the market. So we are trying to know which market fits the B2B market. B2B means business to business. So also, advice to you, especially to future innovators and founders, is that especially if you're in climate sector, ensure you have a problem customer fit. That is the market. Do not be the person that you're saying you're creating a solution just to solve a problem community. How does that product that you're bringing to the market assist person X? How does it assist Alvin? How does it assist Gladys or James? So do not, is it like cheaper for them? Is it convenient? Look at that as well. Also in terms of your revenues, revenues and economics fit, this matters your finances. Look at your CSP, your margins, your pricing, your scalability, and also I highly discourage you from taking loans. Especially if you're in a sector that you're trying, let's say it's something that has not been done yet in your community or in your country, do not take loans or debts. Probably you can take grants or equity or a blended of both. Blended means you take both grants and equity, but do not be reliant on solely paying you so much that because as a startup, margins are very, and your delivery costs are high. Delivery costs meaning your cost of the expenditure cost, the cost of materials, the machinery that you need to make that transportation costs. Many. Kindly. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, also, as I was talking about, revenues and finances. Also, be simple. Do not be, if you're a startup, do not complicate your finances. Just use normal Google Excel or Microsoft Excel. Do not go for Odoo or Zoho. Remember, you're working with limited resources. Even the money that you get, let's say if you're crowdfunding or mobilizing from your family and friends, you have to account every coin. So do not overuse the money into something that cannot be used right now as a small startup. Yes. Also, an advice will be your distribution and growth. that is logistics. I think this is not talked about much, especially for startups in the in the clean tech sector. Clean tech means solutions that are helping the environment, basically. So for us, one major challenge we had was raising funds for transportation, because in terms of our materials and machinery, they were being transported from different places to. So one was being transported from Limuru, another one was being transported from Eldoret, and those are two costs that you have to incur because both the materials and machinery were ready on different dates. So it really hurt us in terms of finances, but we had to, something that I think we needed to know more is, especially if you're working with suppliers, to get your raw materials or machinery in order to create the solution that you're solving. Ensure you negotiate your prices. If let's say you're working with a supplier, you tell them, cut on this and then charge me a bit less on transport. You can split on the transport part. Yes. And also use social media to do what you're doing. Market yourself. Even though, yes, you're starting small. Yeah. Go on social, say what you do on different. Yes. Thank you. And that's Max 8. That's my presentation of you all. To future founders, just believe in yourself. And lastly, welcome. You're Kenyan. And what else? Oh, I talked about the contract part. The contract part, especially when you're signing contracts with investors or VCs. VCs are better. Between you and so read your contracts well. Because I think we had a scenario where we had a potential VC from Dubai. Now in the contract, we had a lot of red flags that if you were just rushing to get the money and the funds, you wouldn't have seen it. So why you are signing a contract, legal contract, just read it through. You cannot read it through, put it on ChatGPT, tell it to break it down for you. Yes, and follow it well. If you have any questions, inquiries, if you have any, you can share.
Okay. Let's check if you have any questions. If you have any question, kindly raise your hand, or you can drop it in the chat so we can read it out. So, as in the meantime, Mr. MUTALE, you're going to be next. So, let's first get some questions from the audience before we proceed.
We
Any
have
questions?
two hands raised.
Yes, Mr.
Uzma, and one is from Abu
Mr.
Baida.
Uthman. Let's have Mr. Uthman go first.
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator. I want to start my first question with the first speaker, that was Madhukar. Madhukar, I want to appreciate so much your presentation. You talked a lot about climatic tech. There are situations like, according to the data that I got from the world economy, that Africa contributes 4% to the green gases, but Africa suffers the most climatic change problem. I don't know how exactly this can be justified, because when you contribute 4% of green gas and then we suffer the consequence more than the factors that contribute, especially the countries that contribute. I want to say that in Uganda, much though that it rains, but you find the temperatures are always very high, especially the place where I come from, that is the Bidibidi refugee settlement in the West Nile, Uganda. You find that the temperatures are very high, but there are no water bodies, just like you said. A dirty water body produces much 48 degrees Celsius of heat. But you find that here we don't have water bodies. How comes that we have this heat that is continuously happening? I want to go to Alvin. Thank you so much for your pitching. I believe that whatever you're doing with your group is really very incredible, that you are trying to do what is called circular economy. A circular economy where we turn waste into valuable products. Now that so many people are trying to always produce the same product you have produced in Kenya, where turning the plastics into tiles, turning plastics into different technologies that I've just seen, innovations. What else can you turn this plastic into, especially because the more you produce tiles using these plastics, you find also the market reduces. So how shall you benefit from that as you're doing your prototype? Have you tried to contact research to know the demand of the community in terms of those products you produce? Otherwise, thank you so much. That's what I wanted to ask.
So you going first or should I go first?
You can go first. It's okay.
Okay. So as far as your question about the rising heat in the African continent is concerned, see, we need to understand the geography. Africa happens to be the host for the line, the equator as well as the line of Cancer. So we are geographically located in a place where the heat has to be naturally on a higher side. But that does not mean that we should not be taking care of our water bodies. Like if we look at Lake Chad has been reduced substantially. It was spread over 3 different countries and now it has been receding, right? So we are increasing our water stress. In fact, last year when I was there for Wetland COP in Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe, this was exactly what I was talking to all the member of parliament from 9 different countries of African Union, that the kind of natural resources we have in Africa, if we take care of them, there is a lot of green revenue that we can generate out of the natural resource that we have. We have got so many Ramsar sites in the African Union. Why don't we restore them and make them a carbon sink so that we start selling the carbon credits and we start receiving our own money? In fact, into the chat box, I was discussing the same problem with all the climapreneurs across the globe. The young generation, the youth who is getting into innovation and invention. You first become profitable, sell your services or your product, and you get revenue. First, get the paying customers. Because this money which is coming in from your customer is what you own. If you take a fund from any third party, it will not come for free. Either you will compromise on your decision making authority, or you will have to compromise on your financial freedom, right? Because the funds will either come as equity or as debt. So you need to understand the intricacies of getting the funds. Why don't we sell that we have in abundance to the funding agency, because they need carbon credits, they need water credits, they need environmental credits, emission credit. Every water body in a healthy condition will generate 5 kinds of credits, the environmental credits, and this is a hell lot of money. Carbon credit, emission, sanitation, water, and biodiversity. Right? So just think on those lines so that everything that you own is everything that you become profitable from. I hope that answers your question. Now I will ask Elvin to answer his question.
The committee in Alex. Tafunga.
Yes, please, Mr. Alvin, your audio is off.
Okay, how about now?
Yes, you're audible now.
Okay, so to answer your question, we wouldn't want to put ourselves as competitors in the market because the market is huge. So what we do is just do our own research, because I told you we're in prototype. So we do our own research in order to understand which sector is best for our product. So our product is not like tiles, I presume, because this is basically an output when you put pellets on a sheet compressor and now you remove it into the planks you sew. So with the plants you sow, you can shape it into different products. So what we are currently doing is, as we do prototyping of understanding the product itself, the material, we also do the research on the market. And remember, plastics are of different types. There is LDPE, HDPE, PET, PTT, so many. So you find that what I might use to create a certain product might be different. What Jijenge, which is a startup here in Kenya, might use to creating their tiles. Because for Jijenge, they use plastic and sand to create the tiles. But for us, we're using plastic alone so that we can understand what we can create. So as young people, do not be like, someone else explain this, we should do it, and I'll be a competitor. No, just understand the point of your customer, what you want to sell to them, how affordable will it be, is it convenient, is it durable? And that's how you will find that specific sector for you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we're going to have Mr. Mutale. Please, Mr. Suleiman and Mr. Uzuma, please put down your hands. Your emojis are still on. So let's have Mr. Mutale. I'm going to be sharing the screen on his behalf for his presentation. I hope you're able to wrap up, and then we shall have questions after him. And then the speaker that will come next is Mr. Osarode. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I hope you're in here because I announced earlier and you're not
Yes.
around.
Hi,
Yes.
Vincentia.
Yes.
Hello, Vincentia. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, I can
Just
hear you.
mention you have 10 more minutes for the session, please.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
the next two speakers could at least wrap it up, and then we can have an audience engagement after this. So I'll be sharing his screen. Okay. So yes, I hope this is visible.
Yes, this is on my side. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Srijan from Zambia. Am I audible?
Yes, please, you are.
Sure. I'm a managing director of YAAKA Investment Limited, which is a fintech company based in Zambia. This company formed in 2015, even before the Paris Agreement, which was in 2016. So in the introduction, I would just love to express to the young people that it is imperative that you have a reason for why you are going into innovation. So we started before the Paris Agreement. We met the Paris Agreement along the way, but we had a passion for a clean and innovative cities for our nation. So if you start something without having your inner desire, without having your inner goal, you might face a challenge and that challenge might overcome you. But if you have a strong passion for it, then definitely you keep to run. Next slide. So we innovated the first ever e-waste recycling plant in Zambia in order to resolve the challenges in the area of waste management, specifically for electronic waste, as we are aware that it is the fastest growing waste stream in the entire world. Next slide. Basically, what we do, we collect the e-waste, and when we collect the e-waste, we take it to our recycling plant where it is crushed and processed into copper and also fiber plastic, which is sold to recycling companies. But the copper that is recovered is what generates income for us when we sell it to various customers. Next slide. One important component to understand about our plant is that it uses a mechanism of hydrometallurgy, which is basically water and vibration, meaning it does not emit even as we recycle the e-waste does not emit dust, or it does not emit any form of emissions. Next slide. So one thing we should understand is that in each of our countries, in various countries, taking Zambia, for example, it generates about 138,000 tons of e-waste annually, but it never had any e-waste recycling plant, such that in the year 2011, it exported e-waste to Namibia. So you have to understand that this is quite important. When we as young people enter into these spaces have got open-end platform where we can offer our solutions, because if our solutions are practical, then other players will come in and buy in out our solution. Next slide. So one of the challenges I realized is that whilst we were building both the market demand and the collection system. So there's a lack of awareness on electronic waste, because some people think electronic waste can be added together with other forms of waste, but according to most countries, electronic waste is described as hazardous because of the chemicals that are inside the metallic systems that are in that e-waste. So one thing we need to understand is that we have to be aware of the communities that we're dealing with. We have to give them knowledge, even as we share our solutions. And then I realized that safe recycling tech is quite costly. So you have to do bootstrapping. We have been guided by most of our presenters that if we depend on grants, then we'll be controlled. But when you bootstrap, then we'll be able to have control. Then, of course, most of the manufacturers do not have end-of-life collection. So there's a policy gap which government can come in and help out. Next slide. Next slide. So our key learning is that tech usually fails without trained people. And if we train people, we are able to have effective systems. But also we have to realize that partnerships are quite key. When we look in the way in which we've gathered, we have got different solutions, we've got different technicalities and professions. So if we collaborate, then we can have impact. And lastly, data is quite important. In order to avoid greenwashing, we have to account for every impact that we make, and it has to be in truth and also in actual works that are done on the ground. Next slide. So in conclusion, there's a potential to collaborate in investment, in policy, and corporate partnerships, as well as collection networks. Next slide. So our roadmap is that we are already invested in a certified and fully functioning recycling plant, and we're looking forward to boost our collection system, which will enable us to grow and expand. Next slide. So let's work together as we make our countries clean, better, and of course, ourselves healthy. Next slide. So I thank you all. Join me and my organization in making a world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. For any questions, please, you can save them, and then we can have the next speaker first. Are you around,
Hello.
Mr. Sir?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me, ma?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. So I would just put like a roundup to what has been said earlier on. I would say that our speakers, fellow panelists, have done justice to, the youth-led programs being said. Real quick, my name is Osawade Stephen Adewingi, and I'm a PhD student at the University of Benin in Benin City, Nigeria. And I'm a beneficiary of youth-led innovation. And one of my big dreams, or one of the things that I've seen come to pass over the past few, let me say 3 to 4 years, is that a lot of young people are creating solutions that is actually helping with things like plastic, with things like food waste and the likes. But policy, government policy and political will remains a very tricky part to navigate. And, sometimes we can say things like, oh, maybe because such innovations are not bringing financial gain, or such innovations are not bringing returns to investment. But I think that's a very wrong way of looking at it, because there's this addiction to the dollar, which I suspect plagues a lot of young people, and even many people, myself included, whereby, oh, looking for the next grant, looking for the next opportunity that can pay you in dollars. It has a way of taking your mind away from actually growing something that will take some time to now become, will I call it, financially viable. So if you only base your mind on, oh, how much can I get from this grant, or how much can I get from this challenge, you may not build very valuable things that will last the test of time. You may just build a fancy solution that will dry up after maybe 1 year or 2 years on the market. So personally, I would like to advocate for the time. Time should be invested, and you should be ready as an innovator to not look at, oh, how much will I make first? I happen to have grown in 2022 during my my master's program. I grew mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, using waste human hair from barber shops. I know everybody now will start thinking, what? Is this guy crazy? Actually, it's not really madness, but oyster mushrooms, which are fungi, are capable of breaking down some of the keratin present in human hair. Now, for those of us who are familiar, keratin is actually a protein. The only challenge is that human beings cannot eat that protein because we don't have the enzymes to break it down. But other organisms can eat it, such as fungi, mushrooms. They can actually break those proteins down. So imagine the level of will I call it, at the time when I did it, it wasn't something that was going to be, will I say, expanded, because there are rules against using hair to do anything food. But I now took the idea further and then started testing it using chicken feather, which is also another abundant source of keratin. And I was able to still grow mushrooms using it. But if I tell you all that when I presented my thesis at my university, the lecturers, the professors, they were laughing. And I think they were laughing because it was absurd. Why would you grow oyster mushrooms with hair, human hair? But the idea that I think they did not seem to see was that alternatives allow people to think better. Because as at that time, everybody, or rather, nobody was really thinking about human hair.
Please,
Human
we
hair.
have 1 minute to wrap up.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So human hair is something that people don't really look at, but it's actually a kind of waste that is a lot in the environment. So with this, I'll just close that, we should be more open-minded to alternatives and prepared to play the long game. Thank you very much.
You're muted, Vincentia. You're muted if you're speaking.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Yes, thank you so much. From all those that have been able to present, those that have ideas, you can kindly drop them in the in the chat. Sorry. So as we conclude today's session, several key themes have emerged. Obviously, so first, the youth. Oh my God. So first, the youth are not simply beneficiaries of climate action. We're actually recognized as innovators, the entrepreneurs that are leading and driving solutions here. So secondly, innovation thrives within communities when they have access to funding, and then we can also look at mentorship and education that is thriving, like actually more of a supportive ecosystem. That is where these innovations will thrive. So the most effective solutions often combine the technological advancement within the local and with the local and indigenous knowledge that we've gained with time, either with exposure or with academia or something like that. So finally, achieving climate justice, yes, requires assuring that grassroots innovators, who are the youth in this situation, have a seat at the table to discuss and share their ideas and innovations, and also have access to equitable resources to see that these innovations thrive. So on behalf of the organizing team, I'd like to briefly, I think for everyone that has presented, that has been a good presentation. So I'd love to thank our distinguished panelists who have and participants as well for contributing to this important conversation. So let's continue supporting youth-led innovations and yeah, which are a critical driver actually to sustainable development and resilience. So thank you, everyone. Let's usher into the next session. This has been a good one so far. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Vincentia. That was a very, very insightful session. And thank you once again to all the panelists who took
Give
out
me the
time
target.
to present solutions in the area of global climate change. Thank you so much. We appreciate all the initiatives and all the innovations you are all putting out there. And that is why we are having conversations like this, to ensure that people think in line of solutions to the problems that is plaguing the world today. The next session we're going to be having is more like an offshoot of the session that we just wrapped up. And before I go ahead to call the moderator, I just want us to keep engaging in the comment section. If you haven't introduced yourself, go ahead and introduce yourself. Like I said, this is an opportunity for us to network and to meet fellow global minds like us, people who think like minds like us rather. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know where you're joining us from, and you can also share how you want us to connect with you, maybe your social media handles. And beyond this platform, we also want people out there to know that we are having these very, very important conversations, and we would like you to share your key takeaways on your social media platforms and use these hashtags. Use the hashtag GLS2026, hashtag Global Leadership Summit, hashtag Youth Leadership, hashtag Future of Work, hashtag Innovation, hashtag Sustainability, and hashtag Global Collaboration. I'm going to put that in the comments in the chat area when we commence the next session, because I
Yes,
do not
please.
want to take more time. Yeah, I'm going to put that. So please do well to keep the conversation going outside of this very platform, and let people know the solutions that we are discussing about and how we can bring change to the world at large. Once again, I want to warmly welcome everyone who has joined us